So thank you, everyone, for joining this session. Thank you, Aditya,
Thank you, sir.
for joining the session, for being with us. And we have a lot of questions to ask for you. I will give a brief introduction, whatever I know about Aditya. He was very attentive in all classes and used to quickly reply. That's what I know. And he got JAM AIR second rank in JAM 2023. And he missed the TIFR interview, but he cracked IISc integrated PhD interview. These things that I know about Aditya. So now we shall get to know more about him. And first, I will ask my questions. Okay. At the end of the session, you guys start asking your doubts. Okay. So Aditya, could you please tell me about yourself and your family and your native?
Okay, as you said, I'm Aditya, and my native is a pretty complicated story. But from 3 generations in, from my grandparents, we've been in Bangalore. I'm born, brought up in Bangalore, so I would say I'm a Bangalorean, thorough Bangalorean. We're Kannadigas, though, yeah, 4 generations back it was Telugu, but now it's Kannada. We talk Kannada only at home. And I did my BSc from St. Joseph's College.
Wait, I will ask that.
Okay.
Your family is now staying in Bangalore.
Yeah, in Bangalore itself.
Okay.
So we're most of our family is engineers. Just everybody, dad, my brother, everybody.
Okay. Okay. So can you please tell me about your school, where you have done your school?
I did initially. I had joined Sudarshan Vidya Mandir in Jayanagar.
Okay.
But then I shifted to DPS, Delhi Public School, because I used to play cricket and I got a sports quota there. So I was in DPS until 12th. Then I did my
DPS means
Delhi Public School South. It's on Kanakpura Road.
Okay.
They have few branches, but I was in the South branch.
Is that government?
No, it's a public school.
It's a public.
Yeah, it's a public CBSE, private. Sorry, yeah, private CBSE school.
So could you please talk a bit more about your high school and about your science? How did you decide that I need to pursue science after high school?
In school and high school, I hated social studies and languages. Okay. I did not like it, so I knew I was going to do something with either science or math. And I was very good with numbers. So in 10th, I genuinely had a doubt whether I'm going to do science or commerce, because I liked numbers. I was good at maths, and there was a very easy career opportunity. I felt like I could make easy money relatively. But and then I used to play cricket. I got injured. I have a fracture here.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, they put a hole in a rod. Okay. So during this time, I couldn't play anything. So my attention went to like YouTube videos, science videos, and physics videos, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can at least pursue this as
during high school.
Yeah, that's how it began. That's what made me take science instead of commerce. And then when I was doing my +2, I went to CERN. I got an offer from our school. There's this one foundation called Life Foundation. Okay. They take high school and +2 students to famous science institutes all over the world, like NASA, CERN, stuff like that. Okay. But yeah, there was like a written test and stuff and all, because you can't just take random people there. But I did well in the test. Even my teachers recommended that, like, yeah, he's a good student. So I went to CERN. I stayed in Geneva for a week. So that like really sealed that, yeah, I want to do particle physics. Okay. That's my interest.
Okay. What are the places you visited? Do you remember at the time?
We went to CERN every day of the week. Okay. We went to one of the days. We went to the computation section. One of the days we went to. We could not go down to the detector because the collisions were happening during the time, so there'd be a lot of radiation. But we visited some of the labs. Okay. We had lectures from some
during
scientists.
Your high school?
+2, during my 11th.
Okay. During you got opportunity to visit the
yes, when I was in 11th.
Okay. Yeah. So they took you to place. Foundation.
Yeah, we had to pay a little bit, but it was not much.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so there your curiosity triggered towards particle physics, and you wish to pursue.
Yeah.
Okay, but you said your family, everyone is engineer, one thing, and another one is you were born and brought up in Bangalore.
Yeah.
How come you are not an engineer?
I have to give props to my parents for that, because they've really allowed me to explore everything. They did everything. Even before I played cricket, I didn't just happen to just play cricket. I tried out every sport. I swam, I did skating, I played football, I played basketball, and I played cricket and I like cricket. Even my dad used to play cricket, but maybe it's in the genes, I don't know. But because of that, they have always had a mentality of allowing me to explore. And I've always been a curious person. I want to know how things work, how uh, that's just the kind of person I am. I even read philosophy a lot, so I'm very interested in how things work, getting to the bottom of things. So physics seemed very natural. Even in science, I did not like biology. I did not like chemistry. Physics just resonates with me.
Okay. So nobody forced you to engineering.
No. I wrote. I think I messaged you. Right? I wrote JEE, and in the January paper, I wrote JEE mains. I got like 8.9 percentile or something. I got 10,000 all India rank. I wrote CET, Kannada. I got 400 rank. I could have got any college I want. My dad's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want engineering." So he allowed me to.
Okay, no pressure from your family,
No.
even though almost everyone is engineer.
Yes.
Okay, so that's very nice. Okay, so if suppose you are not exposed to that CERN or particle physics, what you would have done?
I might be the same field, but probably not to the extent of passion that I have right now. Because as I said, that's just the person I am. I would invariably, I feel like I would find a similar career path, maybe not the exact same one that I want, that I'm pursuing right now, but it would definitely be physics and somewhere along those lines. But I would not have the same conviction that I do now. I would not be 100% yes, I want to do this. I always might have that doubt, maybe should do something else, better than a Madbaku kind of thing.
Okay, that's nice. So after class 12, okay, you have written JEE. Where did you enroll for BSc?
I joined St. Joseph's College for my BSc. Yeah, I like their course, and Christ Physics Honors also I was interested, but it's very, very far from my house. So I was not gonna traveling that much every day did not seem like a good option. Yeah. I know the Bangalore traffic, and that is not. I have to pass Silk Board every day.
Measure distance in time, not in kilometers.
Yeah. So I have to go to Silk Board every day. I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
So St. Joseph's College, I did my BSc.
Okay. So during your BSc, have you done any internship or?
Yeah, in my second year, it was mostly online, right? So I was like looking for stuff to do outside, and there's this one organization called Nakshatra organization, and I've done some like, they were mainly a science education like organization. So I've written a couple of papers also. I've done some studies there. That's when in particle physics, that's when I specified on neutrino physics. During that time, I focused on what I actually want to do, because online class was not very hectic. I had a lot of free time.
Okay,
so I had
you
to think about
COVID,
it. Yeah, second year. My second year is COVID year.
You don't have to go to college.
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice.
That saved a lot of time on travel.
So now in high school to class 11, did you prepare for JEE separately or?
In my +2, I joined base coaching.
Okay.
But yeah, I did not prepare for it. I just attended the classes. But my aim was KVPY, but I did not crack that. Even then, I was sure I wanted like this, but I tried KVPY. I could not crack it. I don't think I put in enough effort. But yeah.
Okay. So I think they will take through JEE Advanced also.
Yeah, JEE Advanced.
Okay. JEE Advanced and KVPY, right? I hope now KVPY is not running.
Yeah, 2 years ago they removed it.
Okay. So that's nice. So okay, did your, I mean, because I want to dig in. I mean, you have studied a bit less actually. I mean,
yeah.
But still, you are a topper. I mean, that's why I want to dig in. I mean, what is your background? I mean, you used to grasp like anything. I mean, like, if I teach something, you used to grasp quickly.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to dig in your past, because that will help me to guide the students actually. So during high school, I mean, in your curriculum, do they used to solve many problems?
No, that what I have is probably what I would call a genetic gift. I've always been good at grasping stuff extremely fast compared to everybody else. I used to play cricket. I used to play like 4-day matches. Okay. Monday to Thursday, I don't attend class, but I used to get 97% in the paper. Okay. So my friends used to hate me. I had never studied, but I did well. Okay. But it's almost always been like that for me. I didn't have to study much. If I study once, I Like if I understand something, I retain it.
Okay.
I don't remember, my memory is bad. I can understand.
Okay, so you had very good grasping power while attending class or studying the textbooks.
Yeah.
So that helped you.
Yeah.
Right now, you may remember something from high school also. I mean, whatever you have learned over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So in class 11, 12th also you have done in that one only, right? Delhi.
Delhi Public School, yeah.
Delhi. Okay. So there did they did they offer any orientation towards JE or it was ordinary?
No, it was just
board exam.
Yeah, board exam.
Board exam. Okay. It was CBSE
Yes.
syllabus. Okay. So then you joined Base for JE coaching.
Yeah, like during the +2 itself, like after school, I used to go and attend Base class.
Okay. Okay. So how that was? I mean, because your problem solving skill was very good actually. So
so it depends on the teachers. Okay, because some teachers focus on concepts, but most teachers focus on problems because that helps most people. For me, I don't focus on problem solving in class. Like it's helpful, but I would prefer the teachers teach the concept and I can solve the problems myself. It's person to person, right? So they focus more on problem solving because that helped most people. It's a big coaching center, so they always cater to what will help the most number of people. So they did more problems in class. Some teachers were nice, they did more concepts. So those concepts I understand much better, like some in physics. But a lot of chemistry and maths was just problem solving. So I used to solve problems. I did do pretty well in the exam, but I didn't like it that much. But it gave me one thing that I would appreciate it for is it gave me a good work ethic. So it gave me the confidence that if I want to put in my effort, I know I can do it. So that was what was important.
I mean, it will help you to perform some hard work, right? The environment, the coaching environment. Yes. Okay. After that one, I mean, you didn't think even a single 1 second that I should go to engineering?
I did, even up until the very end. Even my brother, I have an elder brother, he did engineering as well. CET he wrote, he got 800 rank, he did in PS college. And even he said, engineering mado, like do it, it's good, you can get a good life and you're smart also. Because a lot of the times, even now, like we talk to each other and we solve like engineering problems, like or software problems. He works in AI/ML, that field. So a lot of programming logical problems we solve together. So it's like you have the brain for it, just do it, you can do well as well. But I was like, it's easy, but it's not what I want to do. So I had a doubt even while we were during the admission. My dad is like, are you sure? Like, are you 100% sure you want to do this? I support it, but are you sure? Like, you should know what you're doing by this time. So I was like, yeah, I had doubt even at that last moment. I was like, should I? But yeah, I was like, no, it's fine. Made up my mind.
That's nice. So then during BSc, I mean, along with your curriculum, I mean, in your curriculum, you guys had any problem or only theory? How?
It was like any other usual BSc university. It was affiliated to Bangalore City University. Okay. So it's normal problem solving and some derivations, some concepts. Not much in depth, but it was fine. Yeah, it was fine. But because I found it pretty easy, I had time to read, study other stuff, do what I actually wanted to do. Like as I said, right, I did some papers, I did some internships, some workshops, stuff like that.
So soon after BSc, I mean, did you prepare before joining our course or?
No, not exactly. My college kind of ruined the schedule with how they handle COVID. Honestly, if my college did not do bad at handling COVID, I would probably not even be in Bangalore. Like I wanted to go abroad, but what happened was
after BSc you had a plan.
Yeah, I had planned to go abroad for my masters. Yeah, but what happened is I missed one of my third sem lab exams, my computer science exam. There was a bus strike one day in December 2020, I think, and I missed my third sem exam. They said it'll be done in 2-3 weeks. It's okay, no problem. But I had to write it with my 5th semester. Okay. So after 4th semester, I could not apply anywhere because technically it said I'd failed my 3rd semester. So I could not even apply abroad anywhere.
But whatever course you have taken, that was sufficient to apply abroad. Am I right?
Yeah. A lot of my classmates have gone, they've applied abroad. But at that time, I could not apply because it said fail. My marks card said 3rd semester fail because I was absent for a paper. Okay. So I could not. And it was very late. I wrote my 5th sem exams in April. I finished my 6th semester in August last year. So that was extremely late already. Most courses already began, and my college is still doing exams.
Okay. So that was affiliated to Bangalore City
Yes.
University. Actually, university used to.
Now they're their own university.
Now they are
SJU.
according to new national
Yeah.
education policy. They are autonomous.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
autonomous.
Okay.
So it was very late.
Okay.
It was in August.
So August you were writing.
I was writing exams. Yeah.
So
After August, I wanted like a break because anyways, I decided I'm going to take a break here. Even my dad is like, it's okay, just fine. That's also another thing. Like even in school, in college, I had gone. My teacher asked me to help guide my juniors, and even biggest question that most of them had was, how did you convince your parents to take a year break? Well, that's also not a.
Actually, I think your father spent some time in US or abroad.
Yeah, a lot. US,
So
UK, everywhere.
a break year is a concept in the US. Okay, after graduation, they take 1 year break and they will slowly decide what they wish to do later. Actually.
Yeah.
Instead break year, am I right? That's the word. That's a concept in the US. I mean that most of us. I mean here there is no concept like that.
Even like
If
my
you take
brother.
1 year break, people will look at you like you are a waste.
You're wasting your time. Like, yeah, even my brother, he's in the industry field, right? So he's like, how will it look on your resume? They'll ask you, why is this gap there? Like, people won't hire you. Like, that's how his mindset would work. And
So,
that's how even mine would
anyway,
work.
you should prepare for your future, am I right? I mean, whatever you decide at that time, that will decide your next 40 years.
Yeah.
If you live next 40 years. So that's I'm saying, that's why the decision should not happen in hurry. It should not be influenced by our friends actually, most of the case. So that's so nice. I mean,
But most of my friends actually took a break here because I told you, right? The exam went up to August. So most courses already began their thing. Admissions over, we're still writing exams. So that was one of the factors.
okay. So then, so I think you joined maybe November,
yeah.
to our course. So by the time I felt you were almost ready. I mean, whenever we solved the problem, you used to answer quickly. I mean, how? I mean, you didn't prepare the syllabus, but how come you could able to answer anything or solve? I mean, getting the idea to solve the problem.
Like, one thing that I'm proud of is my fundamentals. I'm very proud of my fundamentals. I know I can get to any place if I start from beginning. And I really enjoyed the way you taught as well. I understood the concepts very well. So once I understood the concepts, it's just applying that to the problem. That always was not very difficult for me.
Okay.
So it may have been higher level stuff, and I genuinely probably know lesser than most people because I left 4 or 5 months of course, right? I joined in November. So, but
still, you used to watch video faster. Actually. I mean,
yeah,
recorded video.
Record videos I watched like into 3 years something.
Okay. So I want much more detail. I mean, suppose if you take quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, you understood. I mean, have you done quantum mechanics that level earlier?
Yeah, almost to that level. Not exactly that level, but a little earlier because that's what I was interested in mostly. Okay. So I did that outside whatever my college did because that was very insufficient knowledge.
Suppose if you take electrodynamics, I mean, whether you were, after our class, you could able to apply that one, or even before that you were a bit ready in electrodynamics.
I was not very ready in electrodynamics. I was good at vector calculus. I was good at mathematics in general.
Okay.
And I joined when you started the electrodynamics course, almost a little bit after. I missed the vector calculus part. You asked me to revise that, but I was already thorough with that. I was confident in that. And then, yeah, you taught the concepts and I would solve the problems.
Okay. But how so the once you understood the concept, you could easily apply and solve the problem.
Yeah.
How, I mean, what do you think, how it came? I mean, from class 12, high school? Because in degree, probably, I hope you guys have solved very less problems.
Yeah. I think it's a lot to do with the way I think. And the way the problems are framed in the textbook. So in your standard textbooks, they ask problems such that they want to check whether your clarity in understanding. Yeah. So whenever I learn something, I don't just learn it. I understand it like to its core depth. I understand the essence of it. I try to, even if I don't get it exactly, I'll either ask somebody, I'll search online something, but I need to get it. And I've a lot of the times, even like in degree, the teacher was not very good, but I was able to relate it to stuff that I already knew and understand it in my own way. But I used to understand it very deeply. So that helped a lot for the problems in textbooks and all. In exams, sometimes not, it's just relatively surface level. I actually struggle with those. But the textbook problems, I find it better.
Okay. So you used to have a very clarity in the understanding. You're saying that is helping you to
Solve the problems, yes, definitely.
Okay.
And my speed in calculation. I do a lot of mental calculation very fast. Because I needed, that is an attained skill. So one of my main issues in exams in degree was time. I used to run out of time. That's because I did not remember the formula they used to ask. I used to derive the formula and then
do the problem.
That takes a lot of time, obviously. So I have to do that fast. So that trained my skills.
Okay. So okay, your whole I mean attitude towards learning was very special. I mean that's what I see. Grasping power, as well as I mean you spend time on understanding. Am I right?
Yeah.
So and then you have a quality of applying it. I mean once you understand it with the clarity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even problems not directly 1 or 2 I might have to solve, but after that I get the idea behind what the person wants, expects of me.
Expect in the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very nice. So so then I have one more question. How did you come to know about our center?
Actually, one of my other friends came to know about this, and I think she talked to you, but she didn't join officially. But she recommended this coaching center. I saw a few. I saw like all the Gate IIT and all of that stuff. It seemed like just like any other random institute. I was like, there's nothing that they can offer me that I can't get in like a YouTube playlist that somebody does online or something. So I saw like my friend recommended, as I said, and I saw and I spoke to you also, and you said you were the teacher yourself, and I like the way like you would approach how, because initially even back then you recommended I don't join. Like every other person, right? They're like, oh, join, even if it's not helpful for me, even if it's that late, they're getting the money, they're fine. But you recommended no, don't join, like because it's too late. Spend your time like doing something else. You can join next semester if you want, next batch.
I think so, I told if you have prepared already yourself, you stick to that one.
Yeah, it's like if you've already prepared early, stick to that. Because changing it now, it's too late. It's not good for you. So it showed that you were interested in the student.
I don't have any. I mean, 2 to 3 month course here. Am I right?
Yeah.
You go 2 to 3 months. Sometimes elected and stay.
Yeah.
So okay. You like that part? I mean.
So it showed that you were like interested in the student, and then I watched some of your like videos also on YouTube, like that you had uploaded of some lectures. So I like the methodology, and yeah, that's the main reason I joined.
So okay, so then so during TA for GS, okay. So you said you already did some up to level on quantum mechanics, am I right?
Yeah.
So then electrodynamics, I think we were doing at that time.
Yeah.
November to December. I mean, you were shortlisted through TA for GS.
Yeah.
I mean, how was TA for GS exam?
I'm gonna be honest, it was very bad. So I joined the course in like mid-November, right? So I'm a night owl. I don't wake up early. I sleep very late. My sleeping times, I don't want to say it on camera because they're horrible. And getting used to your timings itself was a task. First few classes, thankfully you're doing just stuff that I was already like comfortable with, like vector calculus. So I didn't have to pay full attention, but that took about a couple of weeks. And then I went and wrote TFHS with zero preparation. I'm like, I've already registered. Okay, I might as well just go right. The paper was out of 150 marks, I think. And I calculated if everything I did was correct, I would get like 31. So I was like, I'm not qualifying. From December 12th, I'm like, I cannot afford to do this anymore, and I'll study seriously. So in December 12th, I actually started studying. I did not think I would clear TFRGS. In February, I got the mail. I checked all of January because usually they give in the end of January, beginning of February. I did not get mail. I'm like, okay, let it go. I'll just focus on like this exam or whatever, and then focus on just. So, you messaged me asking, have you got shortlisted? I was like, oh, mail is out. I checked my mail, and then they have sent you a shortlist. I'm like, oh, I didn't.
No, I know that he can be there. I mean, so look at here. That exam will test something else. Okay. Not only just how much you mug up or something. Okay? It will test something else. I think that's why TFR. I think what I'm thinking is, I don't know. You guys have to comment. They may check what question they attend.
Yeah, that's what even one of my other teachers told. So I'm in very close contact with one of my mathematics professors from my college. He did his PhD in IIT Madras and now he's doing postdoc in CMI. But I'm in close contact with him, and he said, yeah, TFR, they might even check one or two problems that nobody else solved that you would have, that requires a specific way of thinking.
Yes.
They might like that. We don't know. They don't make anything public.
So
They don't
do
show
you
the
submit
criteria.
The rough work that you have.
No, we have to just give it back to them, but
I think
it's
good.
online.
They will check that one also. So that's what I also thought actually. I mean, they will put some problem. You know how good they are in designing the problem.
But I genuinely did not think I would clear it. It went horrible.
So, and one more thing is, TFR problems are more or like way of thinking problem. I mean, up to one level concept, then it's way of thinking problem. If you see in one perspective, it is nothing else.
Yeah. So from classical mechanics, electrodynamics, and quantum mechanics, I attempted the most. Others, I did not. I almost left it entirely. I'm like, I have no idea, and I don't want to try.
So after December 12, after TFR, you started studying again for JAM and just exam. Okay.
So I used to attend your class in the morning and evening, and I used to go through some YouTube playlists that somebody else has uploaded in the night, and then I used to sleep. That's all. I did that for like 2 months.
Okay. So, how much practice test you have taken? I mean,
JAM, I've taken every single one from 2015 because that's when they changed the format. From 2014 to 15, they changed the format. Before that, it was just subjective also. But from 2015, it became the MCQs with like 31 markers and stuff like that. Single correct and then multiple select and numerical. So from then, so in February, I had made a good plan of solving the paper. My exam was on Sunday. So from 2 weeks before that, I was like solving 2 papers on 2 consecutive. Mine was an afternoon exam. So I wanted to get used to the timings. So I used to solve the paper from say 2:30 to 5:30. And then I used to like go for a walk or something, come back and analyze the paper at the night. And then study in the morning. Next day, I used to write the paper. And then 1 day break. So 2 days I used to write, 1 day break. 2 days I used to solve, 1 day break. So I finished like 8 papers. And then the day before the exam was the break. So it was like
practice test and analysis is very important.
Yeah.
I mean, so what you guys, those who prepared, what you guys do is you keep on revising until the day before exam. You don't concentrate on those practice tests.
There's a lot of the concepts that I just left. I'm like, there's no point doing this now.
Yeah.
But I saw that question come in the paper, and then I used to just see it, and I used to like, okay, so this is how you solve it. In those concepts, I'm not very conceptually clear, but I know how to solve the problems that JAM would ask, like that. So during that day break, I used to focus on my weaknesses because I was very confident in my strengths. You could see my marks go up. I used to get like 64 and then 66 and then 68. And then the most recent 2021 paper that I wrote, I got like 80 something. So, but that would still be like rank 20 or something in the previous year. So the paper difficulty also changes. So like in this year, I got 74, but that is rank 2. So
I think it is a bit difficult than earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. So taking practice test at the end and analyzing that one and self improvement. Okay.
Analysis is very important. Yeah.
When you are nearby the exam. Okay. I think it should not happen nearby the exam. It should happen every weekend. That's why I mean in coaching classes weekend practice.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the practice.
Practice test, yeah. But the specific like previous year's papers that I analyzed, that helps for an exam like IIT.
Test whatever you take. And again, he took the practice test 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock only at the time that exam would happen. I mean, that's the exam time.
Yeah, after the admit card came, I got to know what time the exam was. Because last year, I had written last year also with 0 preparation, but that was in between my 5th sem exams. I cleared it. I got like some 2000 all India rank, but that was not enough. I could get some NIT or something, but I didn't want it.
Okay. So that's good. So, so these are the things. Okay. I mean,
that gave me a lot of confidence. The fact that with 0 preparation, I cleared it and I got like some 2000 rank. So I'm like, okay, if I have preparation, I can get maybe 200. So I did not expect 2, but yeah.
Okay. Then after JAM exam, I hope you got enough confidence that you will get maybe some top ranking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So at the time you were shortlisted for TA for interview.
Yeah.
You couldn't attend the interview. Would you like to comment on that one?
Yeah, unfortunately, I got COVID. I got shortlisted to TFRGS. I even booked the flight tickets, booked the hotel, everything. And
You booked that.
I had already booked. And then April 10th was, I think, the interview for TIFR. And March 21st and 22nd was when the JAM results came out. March 26th was my just exam. March 25th, I got COVID. I got extreme high fevers. I was 4 days, I had 103 fever. I could not. And the problem is, COVID came and went, but that caused me bronchitis actually for my lungs. I could not stop coughing for like till May. I was just coughing. So I could not attend the interview.
Okay.
Unfortunately, TFR also sent me. I'd mailed them, I'd requested them, like, can I get another chance? I sent them my medical records. I sent them my marks, my JAM marks card, and everything. I didn't reply to it, and later they said you got selected based on your JEST score. I didn't even write JEST. So this may be because of this. I don't know. And I mailed them, but then they did not reply. I even phoned them, they did not reply.
No, I mean they shortlisted again through just.
This is what the mail said.
But
I didn't even write JEST. So I wanted to clarify it, but I did not get any clarification.
But you could have gone and attended the interview.
Yeah, but there's two things. One, I filled the form, the registration form, but it maybe the format of typing the registration ID was different or something. I don't know, because after I'd already submitted the form, after the deadline submit had passed, they mailed me saying you haven't submitted the form. This is your last date. And another thing, I don't want to go there, say I do well in the interview, and then somebody else come and say you don't deserve the seat or something like that. I don't want that to happen to me. So two reasons, I was like, it's not worth it.
Okay. So then you prepared for.
I was preparing for like both. Even there was not a lot of preparation needed. Also, I know a person who's doing IPhD in IISc, 2 years senior. I think I met him during open day, and he said there's not a lot of preparation. They only ask you on your fundamentals itself. IISc interview was very nice. You learn actually a lot when you attend such interviews. And before IISc, I had already attended like 3 interviews. I had attended IISc Trivandrum interview. I attended IISc Pune interview. I got from both of them, but yeah, I have to send the rejection letter. So I had like good practice. It's like a ascending order of difficulty.
So this was not your first interview. You already attended.
Yeah, I attended some.
Okay. Okay, that's nice. Then could you please talk much more about IISc interview? What question they asked?
IISc interview was very, I would say, very nice. Even though I said quantum mechanics was my main area of interest, they asked 0 questions from quantum mechanics. Absolutely 0.
How did they start? What is the first thing
so we have to submit our application thingy to them, right? So they saw it and they're like, oh, okay, your name is Aditya, you got JAM 2nd rank, congratulations. They even congratulated me. And they're like, oh, so you're from Namma, Bengaluru, very nice. And they're like, okay, so Aditya, so tell me a bit about yourself. What areas are you interested in? So the thing is, I don't know what they mean when they ask what areas are you interested in. Do they mean like for my future research, or do they mean for like current questions? Like in IISc Pune, when I attended the interview, they meant for my future research. So I messaged the questions they had asked, right? Because I said I'm interested in high energy physics and neutrino physics. Most of my questions were from neutrino physics in IISc Pune. So I'm like, high energy physics. They're like, haha, no, I mean questions now. So I'm like, okay. So I said quantum mechanics, electrodynamics, and modern physics. So they're like, okay, so quantum mechanics. They asked me more from Bohr model of the atom itself. They asked me nothing from quantum mechanics.
In IISc?
In IISc.
IISc, okay.
In IISc Pune, yeah, it's just neutrino physics and particle in the box, stuff like that. And some graph mathematical physics. But in IISc, it was just Bohr model of the atom. I kept thinking in terms of quantum mechanics. So they said stop thinking, but it's hard to come out of it. They said, what are the energy eigenvalues? They said eigenvalues. So I wrote the Schrodinger equation. They're like, no, we don't solve this Schrodinger equation. We're talking about Bohr model of the atom. Then I'm like, oh, I had to write, the energy equation, the kinetic potential energy is due to electrostatic force, and then the angular momentum is quantized and stuff like that. Yeah. So what I really, really like about IISc is the interview is they ask me the questions, which is exactly the way of how I would like to think. So there's this one concept in philosophy, which is called the Socratic method. It's how you arrive at some truth. So basically, if somebody says any truth, it has to be through logical reason. But not everything can be through reason. You have to, there's some axioms or something like that. Even in maths, everything is there, right? So there's a bunch of truths, and then you arrive at new truths using reason. So one of the main problems is, what do you assume about the first truths? What are the assumptions you have made? What if the assumption is wrong? What if it's different? So that's what they said. It's like you've assumed angular momentum is quantized. What if it's not? What if it continuously varies? Then that becomes a classical mechanics central force problem. So that's what they said. So it's like, what's the minimum angular momentum? I'm like 0. I kept thinking of quantum mechanics, right? Not central. If I made the instant correction that, oh, they mean central force in classical mechanics, I would tell it very easily because we've done that a lot. But I still had to take some time. I'm like, SHM, simple harmonic motion is the 0, zero angular momentum. It goes up to the circle. That's the highest angular momentum and stuff like that. So that's what they'd ask, like, what all have you assumed? They're like, okay, so what if this was wrong? And how can you assume this? So we had to derive, like I had to derive why MVR equals NH by 2 pi from the de Broglie thing. So you get NH by lambda. That's the standing wave pattern of 2 pi r is n lambda, and lambda is h by mv. So all of that you had to do. So they ask you, they really test your fundamentals. Like, how sure are you about what you know, and why do you know what you know? That's what they asked. That was one. And then they asked one from modern physics. They asked the Compton scattering, the derivation. I was doing it in one way. We had done it in college also, but there we did like vector breakdown, but I just used the vector itself. I didn't take the components. They asked me, why don't you resolve it into components and stuff? I'm like, I found that to be very tedious. Since we're going to square it anyway, I'm just going to keep it in terms of vectors. So we also get the cos theta that we want directly. They're like, okay, you don't have to solve. They stopped me then and there. They're like, okay, you know how to do. You don't have to derive it fully.
So there is a momentum conservation. If you take dot product with itself, I think you will get theta somehow.
Yeah, because the thing is, you have a photon going and an electron going. Both of them have angles. But we don't need the angles of the electron. That cancels out later because of the momentum conservation. So they probably expected, I break it apart both and then square and add and stuff like that, which is just the same as just squaring. Okay. So the moment I said that, they're like, okay, you don't have to do it. You can do it.
So then what the topic did?
Electrodynamics, they asked me some from...
mobile? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I think it may hold for a while. If it goes for a switch it down. Yes.
Then electrodynamics, they asked me some from Maxwell's equations and some from vectors, vector potential and scalar potential. Truth be told, I'd forgotten about the vector potential. I knew B was del cross A, but apart from that, I did not know much about anything. I didn't know the correction factor in electric field when you want to show it in terms of its potentials. So they asked, okay, write it, because by this time already 35-40 minutes were done. Just in the first two, because they kept grilling about the same things again and again. They asked inverse Compton effect. How can you see wavelength decrease? So you don't think about this unless somebody asks you. So it depends on the frame of reference. So if you're in the frame of reference where the electron is moving and it loses energy, that means the photon must have gained energy. So they ask you about all of that. So because we always solve in the rest frame of electron.
Yeah.
So what if you don't? In laboratory frame, you can't say the electron's at rest. So they test a lot of the fundamentals. By this time, there's a lot of time. They're almost through anyway. But then one of the professors said, okay, since you said electrodynamics, let's also ask just a placeholder question. He said that word, placeholder question. And they asked me, so I just said E is minus del V and B is del cross A. They're like, actually, the first term is incomplete. It's only from electrostatic force. So I'm like, okay. From the second Maxwell's equation, you get you can get it easily. So they're like, okay, we have everything we need. Thank you. So the fact that I didn't know something, they did not make me feel bad about me not knowing. But as long as I could arrive at something that I had never seen before, or like I don't remember, I could arrive at new things on my own. Using the fundamentals, they were very happy with that.
They see the approach, okay? They don't, because it's very ideal one. I mean, I don't expect very ideal step or something. They see your approach.
They don't care about how much you know. They care about how you get to know new stuff. Can you get to know at all? Can you reach a certain knowledge level without already having that knowledge? So I was very happy with that.
I think my questions are over. So any question that you wish to ask in here in the class? Later we'll go to Google. Yes, you don't have to. Yeah, you can ask any question. Right?
Can I ask this? Fine.
You said you'd like to get to the bottom of things.
Yes.
So even if it takes a lot of time,
Yes. It's like a itch that I can't get rid of, and severe interest. So whenever anybody makes any uh, statement without like fact checking, it kind of annoys me. So that's an example that would be relatable basically. So I bet like we're all studying science, so you'll see one of those typical like WhatsApp forwards and anything, and you're like, this is so obviously wrong, right? So how can you say that it's obviously wrong? Do you know enough to make that statement? Are you sure you know what you're talking about? So I kept asking myself that question, and until I'm satisfied with, yeah, okay, I think I can, safely say that, yeah, I know it. I try to get to the bottom of it.
No, I think I'll ask one more question on behalf of him.
Yeah.
Suppose there is no limit for depth, am I right? In this stuff actually.
Yeah.
You can get to one clarity, but still you can raise question. You can go deep. I mean, how you could satisfy yourself up level and what?
I can satisfy up to whatever level I can understand, and whatever I think I will be able to understand. I will keep trying, but once I realize that either it's out of my mathematical depth, mostly that's the only reason. If it's using maths that I am not capable of understanding yet, then I would give it a rest. But with most other stuff, I would try to get to the bottom of it. And I always have this idea of questioning everything. Even like my friend had come home last week. So we have a tap leak. So we have this thing that you close the tap in, right? And it stored a lot of water, basically. So I was asking, okay, why do you think the water does not fall? Like the tap is there, you're attaching a plastic thing, but the water is held there. That's because inside there'll be a vacuum and outside atmospheric pressure holds it. So like it's just how you think. Any single thing I see, I'm like, okay, how is this happening? I just ask that question, and more often than not, I'm able to answer it myself. But if I'm not, then I search online or read more or whatever I can do about it.
So whenever you read or listen or something, okay, I mean, you should do it in such a way that it should be yours. I mean, how to say? You should not be like in the textbook. Okay, it should be yours. I mean, if you think in your way, or if you try to understand in your way, it will be yours. That concept will be digestible.
It's also like the Feynman technique. I used to teach like a lot of my classmates as well. So like whatever teachers used to say or I used to read, I used to understand in my own way, and then I used to explain it to them to like reinforce my learning, and also explaining to them shows like where I've understood, how I've understood it myself. So in my own way, I used to understand it. I used to explain it to them in the way that I know they want it, because I mean, teacher can't explain it to like 80 people how they want it. So I used to teach like 4 or 5 people I know how they want, and so it requires different types of thinking. It requires thinking of what that person is interested in and what level they know, and just a holistic view of the entire concept and break down at different levels. So you need to be able to explain it to different levels.
you said your memory is bad, right?
Yes.
So you have to derive everything.
Yes, almost always. Unless I'm very used to solving it, yeah.
Same here. So you said you did something to ensure that you don't consume your time. You elaborate further.
Okay. So the main thing is I skip steps. Like even in the derivation, I lose marks a lot of like that in my degree because you have some questions on derivations. So from here I can already guess. Okay, so it's gonna come here. Like this is what is gonna happen, right? So even though I don't remember it, it seems like the logical next step. So I do most of the steps in my mind. That would take about 10-15 seconds, and then about 2 minutes in, you can get anything, and then the formula just apply to the problem and solve it quickly. So the point is you need to be very fast with what you do, because invariably you'll have to do more stuff. Like deriving a formula and using the formula to solve a problem is going to take longer than using the formula to solve a problem. No questions asked. So there's not a shortcut. You just have to do it faster. The method to do it faster for me, at least, was skipping steps, because I can do it mentally.
In day-to-day preparation, okay, so I'm going through something combined with your ability to want to understand things at a deeper level. The derivation you kind of derive it in your head,
Yeah.
over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find yourself forgetting. You go back and
Yeah. So every time, that's what I just derive it over and over in your head. And I said calculation was a thing that I was fast at. I told you, right? That's the habit that I cultivated. So I not only do I do the derivation part fast, I also have to do the solving part fast, because you have lost non-zero time in deriving. You're not going to get that back no matter how fast you do it. It's still a non-zero time you're going to be losing. So your best bet is to also reduce the time you spend on solving the actual problem. There also you can skip steps. MCQs, nobody really cares. So methodically, I don't write. Only like during interviews that you have to write on the board or something, they will ask you to do it step by step and read it out loud. Otherwise, while solving, you do half of it in your head, at least. That's the only solution that I found that works for me.
Okay.
A lot of the things that I would tell suggestions before asking questions, I'll tell you, it depends. Everything depends on person to person.
There is no one tablet.
There is no one tablet for every cure. Yeah, as Sir always says. So I can just tell you what helped me and what might help you, but I cannot tell what will help you. So yeah, just a disclaimer before I tell anything.
Yeah. Any other question? Yeah.
You joined our institute very lately, right?
Yes.
So how come you how you become being fluent in the such teaching and everything?
So I used to pay attention to his teaching. So that's the main way. And I used to solve the homework that afternoon and give and like submit it.
Yeah, we have a lot of homework, the time it takes is more than 3 hours or like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you manage to keep that in one track, and also you have to you are a 6 months course student or
6 months course.
Yeah. So did you attend the previous lectures also?
No, I did not.
Okay, you left that there.
I left that. Yeah. Some of them I attended the videos. I told you at night I used to watch. I used to watch into 2 speed. So I used to catch up that way. At night I sleep late relatively. I used to sleep at like 12 to 6. I used to sleep. 6 hours is more than enough for me. And I used to attend class from say 6:30 to like 9:15, and then have breakfast, solve a little bit before lunch, not much, just some. I used to relax, I used to go work out. Then afternoon mostly I used to spend time for solving this, and then evening class till like 8:15 whatever. I used to have dinner, come back. There was no homework at night, so I used to that time I used to watch YouTube videos or old videos or whatever. I focus more on jam towards the latter part because the depth for that is not as much as other exams, because it's just a bachelor's level exam. They don't there's no integrated PhD or PhD level problems. So it's just bachelor's. You don't need a lot of depth. So I used to watch YouTube playlists in obscene speeds and be done with.
Did you learn did you used to read textbooks also?
Not much, not really, no.
So
it's been kind of difficult for me.
Grasp everything, whatever I told in the class.
It's hard for me to sit in front of something and read. I have been trying to make a practice of it recently. I have been doing it. Some textbooks that are genuinely very good, I don't mind reading. Like Griffith's, both of them, electrodynamics and quantum mechanics, are amazing. I started his elementary particles book recently because I'm interested in particle physics. So anything I do is almost out of interest. It's very hard for me to actually sit and read and study for an exam like that. It's very difficult for me. It's annoying.
So, I mean, that's what he told. I mean, it may not work for everyone.
Yeah.
But whatever the best work for him, he can explain that one.
Yeah.
So that's what I also tell. I mean, we used to have 3.5 hour class, right? You should not postpone your understanding. Okay, you should learn it in the class. Otherwise, you should not think like, okay, after the class I will read again and understand.
Even a lot of times, any doubts I have, I should just message then and there immediately. So it clarifies it instantly. Any doubt I have, because later, as I said, memory is bad. I forget what doubt I had. So just get it clarified with.
Yes, I mean, you should be there in that time.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be there with me, or with the YouTube video or whatever you are watching. You should be there. That time should be utilized properly. I mean,
your brain should be in focus at that. Doing what you're doing, you should do it in focus. That's it.
So I mean, what some of you may think is, if you couldn't understand something, or you may feel a bit lazy in the class, that anyway I will read it later in the book. But what happened to that time? You don't have that much time to. I mean, you have very less time to
You can use books to like revise some concepts and ask again, but attending class I would recommend because it's someone teaching you, not just words on a page. So I mean, different people have different things. Of course, some people are like, it's literature, it's like, it's real, but for me it's like it's words on a page, where this is like another person teaching me things. So that's what I would prefer.
So I would suggest very different.
Yeah, exactly.
After my class, you have to read the book again and all. Okay? So, but what I thought is, I mean, after I saw his performance, I mean, he was there with me. I mean, in each and every step, whatever I write, whatever I think, all right, he was there with me. I mean, if you do like that, that 3.5 hours will be utilized, all right, perfectly. I mean,
I did use a book, but just for revision. I didn't like study it. I didn't go through it. I used to use it for like just revision, see like the concept's name, see in brief, like, headings, subheadings, and then some of the problems. That's all. But I did not like read it or like study it thoroughly and all. I could not do that. I used it for revision. That's it.
okay. So, but as far as that assignments are concerned, I think you used to do faster, am I right?
Yeah. I used to, that's what, as soon as you gave, I used to do. But yeah, now I see a lot of people, but back then I thought maybe I have more time because people are not attending college. But I had taken a gap break here. So I was like, okay, I've taken this time, might as well utilize this time. I don't want it to go to waste. So I spent the time and I did it.
So that time depends on a student to student, okay? How much time you take to complete the assignment, okay? But what I'm saying is, suppose if you sit for 1 hour, it should be full 1 hour, not 15 minutes on Facebook or WhatsApp. It should not go like this. I mean, that 1 hour should be spent on that one completely without thinking anything. So, okay. One more thing that you need to observe, I mean, you don't have to go to full depth, whatever the book that we are doing, okay? I mean, this sham used to stuck always, okay? He's there in the electrostatic chapter, we completed magnetic. So, I mean, exam level, okay? To take you to exam level, I have chosen those textbooks. When I see TIFR problem, when I see just problem, okay? They are of that level, that's why I needed to use. Even JAM questions are also very good. I mean, electrodynamics, even statistical physics questions are very good.
Yeah.
Of this book level only. So, but you don't have to go to author level. Okay?
Yeah, another thing that I really liked about the center is it's physics learning center. So I always took like the books might be more in depth, but I always took it like if it's for exam, I don't need it, but if it's for learning, I want it. So it's the difference between need and want. So I spent as much time on what I want as I did, but I started very late. I could not afford to spend time on what I want anymore. I genuinely wanted to do those books. Like I want to learn physics. But that's why I even asked him for the lectures of all the ones that I missed. Today I came and I asked again because they're a valuable source of knowledge and physics learning. So which I value. But the exam constraints, I could not afford to do it. I started very late. So I just did what was needed for the exam. I did what I needed, but not what I wanted. It's opposite, most people want to do less, but they need to do more. But for me, it's the opposite. So you have to alter the way you are in some essence to some of the exams. You need to tailor to what you need to do in life.
I hope you got the answer, am I right? I mean, you have to compromise bit. I mean, later you can do. I mean,
yeah.
Anyway, you are going to do masters only, am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
There again, you are going to choose better textbook and you can do. So why I have chosen this standard textbook because of this level of the question that we are designing year by year. And we need
because GS and GEST, right? It's the same paper for IPhD and PhD. So they will have master's level. That's why we have to use the problem.
So that's why I have chosen that one. I mean, some of very less. You guys are. I mean, you start digging. I mean, even Griffiths have mentioned some publications. Okay, in this one. I mean, you don't have to do that one right now. You have time.
Yeah.
Because up to some extent you should be a bit practical. You have exam nearby, you should somehow. So using the textbook to solve the exam problem. That's what the method that I was proposing. And using the concept, I mean, if any concept is missing while solving the problem, then from that.
Yeah.
So completing even one Griffiths electrodynamics textbook, it is a 1 semester task, not 1 month task. That we should not do that. Okay. So if you use the textbook to solve exam problems, you will be more and more clear with your concept, you can solve more and more problems. That's the simple idea. So that's why, I mean, try to, what you call, those who are very into the textbook, okay? I'm saying, I mean, my job is very difficult here. Without textbook, it won't happen. Which textbook? What if some of you stuck over there? When I have started preparation in 6 months, I completed three chapters of quantum mechanics, electrodynamics. Only 3 chapters. I mean, in 6 months. I mean, getting into very deeper and all. But somehow we need to be practical, and I mean, that practice test should be is very important. We should get into that one. Right?
Yeah.
Complete the syllabus.
You need to know what level type of questions specifically.
You can start.
Also, it's very difficult to say I'm going to prepare for all of them. You need one main, and others should be your plan B, plan C. Like most of your plan should be for one exam. For me, it was JAM because, as I said, I already written it and I had confidence in that exam. So I was like, okay, I'm going to focus mainly on this. But you can't say I'll focus for all exams combined. You can focus on one, and everything else you need to alter it a little bit. Like, so for example, when I wanted to do, I told like till December I studied in depth everything that I needed to do. In January I did not because I just needed it for JAM. But after JAM, before just again I went back because now that JAM is over, that's not my main concern anymore. So now I can afford to spend more time on going depth in concepts. Not even afford to, I need to do it for just
exam.
Yeah. So I started doing that.
Let's have some time, at least 1 month gap in between. Suppose TIFR, a bit depth. Up to TIFR, do bit depth. Okay. After TIFR, up to JAM, do on the surface. Do more and more previous question paper where you can guess the questions. So then.
But that depends on what you want, which is your main exam that you want to focus on. For me, it was JAM. I mean, my reason was that I was already confident. But you guys also don't have to focus on JAM because a lot of people can't write JAM. For PhD, like integrated PhD and PhD, right? So if you want just GS and just, they're pretty similar. You can just focus on that. If you focus in that level, if you manage to complete it, then you almost don't even have to study for JAM. It's pretty simple.
If you manage to complete for TFR, GS and just exam, okay? I think
actually initially they said just was supposed to be February 19th. So yeah, so I didn't know what to, should I give depth or should I not? But then I remembered, I'm like, okay, I should not waver. My plan A was this, so let me just study for this. And then they postponed that by a month. I'm like, okay, now I have time, I can study. Yeah. So things like that can happen. They will not always go according to plan. So you need to be best prepared for your plan A. That's all I can say.
You want to do particle physics?
Yes.
So you want to go to CERN?
Yes. Thank you.
So very clarity.
But yeah, even if you want more clarity, I would say probably a neutrino observatory.
How do you orient for yourself for one particular
you need to see what level. Okay, if you want a general talk on how it works, you need to see the depth of concepts, the type of problems, the length of problems, the paper exam format. This is very, very, very important. This year, a lot of people did very bad in JAM because they spent so much time on section A. They spent 2 hours on section A almost. Most people that I've like talked to and like people that I know that have written, they wasted a lot of time. You can't afford to do that in the exam. So you need to be thorough with the paper pattern. You need to see usually what questions come in what section. It's not just you need to know the format of the paper. You need to know how long a question in this section will be. So we had an MSQ in JAM. People tell this takes a lot of time. It doesn't. They're almost always conceptual. 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 4 will usually be correct. If you're very strong with, some of them will take time because they require rethinking. You need to think again. I'm like, okay, this is conceptual, but so those multiple sided questions show how strong your conceptual understanding is. Because like this is correct, but why is this also correct? You need to know why something is correct in order to know that this is correct. It's not enough to know this is correct. You need to know why this is correct. That's the only way you can rule out other options. So MSQ is very nice in that scenario. So mainly, yeah, you need to be extreme. You need to study for the exam. You need to study the exam. That's in short how to put it. Yeah.
So I mean, you should have a very good question paper analysis.
Yeah. So there's this one very nice saying. So in base, when I attended +2, I got selected for this thing called toppers batch. So I was taught by the chemistry HOD. My chemistry was taught by this HOD. He was very nice. He was a former IISc professor, and he retired, and now he's just teaching in base. So he was telling, he's like, so for them, JEE Advanced is the main exam. So they say, look, in JEE mains, a lot of the options, it's only single correct. but then 2 might be correct, but you need to know how the examiner thinks. So I'll tell it in Kannada for those who understand. So they're like, ಅವ್ರು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯ. It's not what they ask, it's about what they want from you. So you need to, you get only through paper analysis. You need that.
What those who design the question, what they are expecting.
This is what you need to know. You should not care what they're asking. You should care what they think what they want, basically. That's very important. You get that through paper analysis and stuff. So with that, you can actually rule out a lot of the options if it takes a lot of time. So yeah.
So I mean, in JAM exam, actually, they will usually ask that question in that place, actually, that subject. I mean, if you see the pattern, that question will come in that place. I mean, that subject question.
Yeah.
That will come in that place only if you take last 4-5 year question.
But the question order changes.
I mean, while you are
While you are attending question order,
whatever question they put up in
yeah,
the website,
they always stick to one format, but for us it's completely shuffled.
Yes. In that one, what I found is it will come in this section. This
Yeah.
subject question will come this.
So it's easy to recognize that these many marks are allocated to this subject, these many marks to this subject. They rarely waver from it by a lot, but this year they changed a lot. They asked a lot from thermodynamics and statistical mechanics. They asked a lot this year. That's why most people got less, because that takes time. That was an MCQ because you have to solve a lot, right? Statistical mechanics. That's why most people did not do well. Like last year, I had got 32 marks. That was some 2000 rank. This year, my junior, when I spoke to, he got 32 marks. That's like 900 rank. So it changes. It depends year to year.
So I mean, sometimes that weightage shifts actually.
Yeah.
It's not like the same.
It's not like saying there's no good score. It matters year to year. Don't feel bad if you do bad, then everybody else would have done bad. Even I thought I would not get a lot.
65 marks I will score. No, don't
See, above 60 objectively is good, but you can't get an estimate of how good it is.
At that exam, it may.
Yeah. Yeah. So before, when I used to write, it used to be like tops. When I used to study and I used to think, it used to be like 60 marks is like top 200, and 70 marks is like top 50. Above 75 is like top 20 or top 10. That's how it used to be for me. But this year, I know a guy who got 59 marks. He's 53 rank. So it's not always like that. It's just a guideline.
So it all depends on difficulty. I mean,
Yeah.
it is difficult this year. That doesn't mean next year it will be difficult. It
Yeah.
will be easy. I mean, that all depends.
Even difficult or easy is the same paper for everybody. So it doesn't matter. Just don't feel bad about your particular performance.
So that's why you have to cover more and more syllabus.
Yeah.
You have to try to maximize.
Everybody is starting to do that now.
One of my old students, what he did is, at that time he attended around 50-55 marks. He don't want to take much more risk. Until that time, 55 marks was very good score in JAM exam. So then he spent maybe 1 hour as it is in the exam. But that exam was very easy, and competition was suddenly increased in that year, and he got very rough ranking. So that should not happen. I mean, you can't predict now whether 65 would be the best score in that exam or 75. So you should try to cover more and more syllabus. That's what I should do. Yeah, okay. I will go to Google Meet. Any questions on Google Meet? You can enable mic and speak. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, yes, proceed.
First of all, congratulations on your achievements.
Thanks, Raj.
And I like your way of thinking. And I'm sorry to hear about your TIFR interview. You especially said you are interested in neutrino.
Yeah.
It would have been a good opportunity. I have 2 questions. You said you are interested in neutrino. So in which group you are planning to join at IISc?
Yeah, okay. Ask both the questions. Yeah, what's the second question?
Okay. And if you have plans to leave IISc after MSc and shift to TIFR or any other institute for PhD, and if that is possible, then if you have given thought about it.
Okay, yeah, good questions. So first one, in integrated PhD, I can't really choose a department. It's just MSc, integrated PhD physics. It's called physical sciences. Maybe later, obviously, it would be higher energy physics. Center for higher energy physics is, as I said, the senior that I know is also from there. And that's what I want.
They are not asking you to choose the department.
No.
I mean, choose the subject.
Yeah, it's just physical sciences. Later, because there's also an MSc part, right? So that's standard for most people. You'll have some electives in it, but
Can you get only MSc and go to somewhere else for research?
yeah, you can. So after 3 years, there's an exit clause. So normally for everybody, MSc will be 2 years. But usually what happens in institutes where you can have integrated PhD and then drop out is, so everybody has a thesis in their fourth semester, right? Like thesis, dissertation paper, whatever you want to call it. That's usually in your fourth semester. But because we are an integrated PhD, it'll be for us fourth, fifth, and sixth semester. So it'll be like 1.5 years. You'll do a major project, not just a project. And you can leave after 3 years after MSc after that project. You will have a tag called MSR, means MS by research. You can leave after MSc itself after 3 years, not 2, and you'll have a tag saying MS by research, not just MS. So that's an added thing which helps in, whether if you want a job for industrial research or if you want a PhD candidacy somewhere else, this by research tag will be very helpful. And yeah, I have given thought about it, but I will finalize it only during that time, obviously. And now I think I will continue probably because you might have to say, I don't know whether they'll ask me by second year that do you want to leave after third year. It depends on when they'll ask me. If they ask me to make a decision earlier, I would rather stay because it won't be finalized. I don't know if I will get or not. And this is by no means a bad institute. So I would continue to do it. But even what I was thinking was either go to TFR for my PhD or I would go abroad as well if that's needed, because there's not a lot of scope in India for my specific field as there is abroad. It's there, but not as much.
I mean, the funding is not
a lot. Yeah.
Okay. TIFR
Japan is very good for neutrino. They're coming up with. You guys have heard of Kamiokande and Super Kamiokande? If I've ever heard, they're neutrino detectors. They're also coming up with Hyper Kamiokande next. That would be 2027 or something is the plan. So they'll be about when I finish. So that'll be nice if I could get it.
So he has very good plans actually.
Yes, India is also investing in some neutrino experiments.
Yeah, they have.
Actually,
Yeah, there's an INO in India, Indian Neutrino Observatory. There was actually a lot of the questions in Pune. They asked me like, you say you want this, but do you know there's also in India? So that's what they wanted to test. But yeah, it's there. It's good. Definitely. I'm not saying it's bad, but I said the focus is not as much as it is in some other places. But yeah, if I go to TFR, they have official collaborations with CERN. I mean, so does IISc, but they have with CMS detectors specifically, CMS collaboration it's called. They have with a few institutes in India. They have with IISc Pune, they have with TFR, they have with HRI, they have with IISc, and probably that's it. I'm not sure.
yes,
Maybe also
and
IISc Kolkata.
neutrino part, neutrino detector part. CERN is also having a neutrino detector.
Not specifically neutrino detector, no, but a general particle detector. Yeah, CMS stands
No. Yeah, that I know, but they have a particular separate detector for neutrinos that are coming from that accelerator.
Yeah.
So you can look into that also. If you're going to CERN and neutrino,
I saw that
you can
recently.
pursue
They found
that.
it first from the. Yeah, no, I saw it. I think that's in Italy. It's coming from that detector, but it's not affiliated to CERN. They just happen to detect it from CERN. I think it's in Italy. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I will look into that as well. Thank you. But yeah, CERN is very nice, but now Europe again seems a little iffy. I want to go abroad, right? But now there's a lot of funding cut because of the Russian invasion. They are spending a lot more on defense now. So my cousin did MSc in Germany in space sciences. She finished it a few years ago, like maybe last year, but her thesis was still pending. So she was telling there's a lot of funding getting cut from a lot of universities. So that's also another reason why I did not want to go abroad. There's you don't know, like they have to ration their electricity, and she worked in nano thruster technology, space science and technology. So she needs such lab results, and you don't know what you need. And even CERN was shut down. They only reopened it recently because that's $13 trillion a year going to waste essentially. So they would rather use it for solving the current problems like oil and energy, and there's a lot of crises happening in Europe, refugee crisis, war crisis, just a lot. So a lot of geopolitical issues also come into the decision making, and I can take a decision about that only a few years later. So currently I can't say that.
Yeah, okay. All the best.
Yeah, thank you. No, the camera got cut. Sorry, I just cut midway. But yeah, point is I am deciding on it, but I cannot confirm it until a few years from now. Circumstances may vary.
Okay. So one more thing. I mean, If you that kind of topic, okay, high energy physics, it is coming out with lot of applications also, especially neutrino physics. Unless it touches a very realistic application, I mean, funding will be a bit low on that.
Yeah,
So once it touches application, then
we will get more
entire
funding.
world will look into it.
Exactly. Now the new thing that's coming up is neutrino astronomy. That's the major application now, because there's also a hypothesized something called neutrino cosmic neutrino background, like how this microwave background, right? So we get CMBR only because that's the first time that light could escape, because universe is dense and light could not escape. But neutrinos don't care about density of matter.
Okay.
So there's a hypothesized image of an earlier new universe. But basically, I'm just giving an example as to how neutrinos can be used in observatory. Light gets blocked. The only two sources that after light we get are gravitational waves and neutrinos. Now gravitational wave research is happening. Next is going to be neutrinos. I'm not saying that's what I'm very interested in. I'm just pure research minded. But yeah, once application comes, maybe funding will increase. But currently it's very less.
But if you are in the top of in that field, then you will somehow find
Yeah.
your path. I mean, you'll not struggle that much actually. That's
Yeah.
So yeah, any other questions on Google Meet? Any questions here? You seem to have some questions.
You said you are interested in philosophy, right?
Yes.
So while you're speaking, also you apply a lot of
Yeah,
philosophy.
See, philosophy is the way you think. It's not just how you read. So now it's incorporated in almost my everyday life. Whether consciously or subconsciously, it just happens. I didn't even realize I was applying it until you pointed it out. Because for me now, it's just the way I am. It's not that I'm applying a concept. It's just that I am this. Like I'm being who I am, kind of thing. So it's like fundamentally changed me or altered me.
So maybe that thinking may be helping him to learn physics faster.
No, but I feel I learn philosophy and physics due to the same reason. I'm curious. I want to know how stuff works, how everything works. So yeah.
While talking also, I mean, the word that he was using, it was a bit philosophical sometimes. Yes.
I didn't recognize it. Just tell me if you need any explanation. I don't know to.
Yeah.
I don't do this often, so I'm not sure.
Yes. Any other questions?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
First, congratulations to you.
Thanks, Ken.
My question is how you used to study neutrino stuffs. I mean to say, from any standard high energy books, or you have some lectures like.
Yeah. So I told you that my first exposure and interest was like in this Nakshatra organization, right? We had a series of lectures and some paper that we had to write. So I helped in publishing this paper on neutrino oscillations. So that was my main introduction to it. But yeah, apart from that, not a lot of standard high energy textbooks, mostly online, some articles and a few research papers as well. There's this one website, I don't know if it's still available or taken out. I think it's called neutrinophysics.xyz or something, if memory serves me right. That has amazing prerequisites and knowledge for neutrino physics in general. It's very nice.
Okay,
But, and also YouTube videos, some books, some articles, some papers, just helter-skelter.
Okay,
But
you
whatever I
studied
can get my hands on.
physics along with your preparation.
I studied.
Neutrino physics along with your preparation.
I wouldn't go as far as to say I've studied neutrino physics. Okay, I know some about it. I want to know more about it. I want to study about it. I may know more than most people, but that's not nearly enough. That's not the point. I won't say I've studied it. I'd say I'm interested in it because I've did it a little bit and I found it interesting. How can you say you're interested in something without knowing what it is? So I've just studied enough to know what it is about enough. That's what I would say. I wouldn't say that I've studied neutrino physics.
Now in masters, you can take course related to You can choose course related to high energy physics. You can study in that. He didn't go through any course related to neutrino physics in BSc and all. I mean, it was.
I have done an online course on particle physics from University of Geneva itself, Coursera course. So that also helped knowing what I would need. So like, how can you tell that you're interested or not interested in something without having done it? And I've tested a lot of fields and I found this to be what I like the most.
If you are not exposed to that field, but if you want to test yourself, you pick the open courses available in the internet and you try to do that. Well, if you find your patience over that, that is really interested topic for you. I hope you got my point.
Okay,
You
okay.
don't have
All the
to
best.
go. You don't have to go to IIT and test yourself whether you can do it or not. Okay, we have open courses available, NPTEL or MIT open courses. He said University of Geneva. Okay, I mean where you can test yourself. Okay, in which topic you are interested in. Okay, soon after our course, I would suggest all of you to do so. Test yourself in which topic you are interested in which topic you can find your patience.
Yeah,
if I say.
I did most of this during online COVID era itself. So it was, I had a lot of time. So I was like, why not?
Yeah. Any other questions on Google Meet?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Hi, Aditya. Congratulations.
Hi, thank you.
So my question is that you said that you tested a lot of fields while like deciding your area of interest.
Yes.
So how do we test those? Because like there are a lot of information, there are a lot of fields available. So at times it does get overwhelming. So how do we keep focus and test different areas and finally decide our area of interest?
Okay, yeah, that is a very question, and even there's a guy here who said that was his exact question. And I would say branch out from what you're currently studying. Say what you want to know more. Mine was extremely specific because I'd already done a little bit of particle physics and I've been to CERN. So I, at least in that field, I know what's what. But in otherwise, see what would be your calling, you know, if that exists. See what interests you. Like when I spoke in my college, there was this one student that said, I really like special relativity. Like, what can I do about it? What can I do with this? That is more like a tool to do other stuff. It's not much to explore. It's been done almost always. Special theory of relativity. You use it for like relativistic quantum mechanics, or you use it for gravitational relativity and cosmology. So, even in order to know this, that you have, that it's not the end goal, that it's just a stepping stone, you need to see online about it. You need to read up about it. So I would suggest search online. A lot of people bash Wikipedia. Honestly, that anybody can edit it, it's wrong. But a lot of them are actually cited, and no, not anybody can edit it. They have a very strict peer review system. You can, even if you find that to be insufficient, they have a bunch of articles listed below that they have cited from. You can read those directly instead, which is what I did at least. And read up online, see, you can just straight up Google it, like what can I do with this? If you take a particular area, see what the current research is happening, because a lot of what you study, of what anybody studies, happened centuries ago. Like classical mechanics, what, 1800s, electrodynamics 1870. So only quantum mechanics and like relativity and stuff is after 1900s. So nothing now is ever remotely resembling what it was 100+ years ago. So you need to know, see where that particular field has built up to and what is happening currently. And if that is something that you want to learn or work in or research or apply, first you need to see amidst these things which is your brain most suited for. And after you decide this, see which field is best suited for this. So if mine is research, there's not really much scope for me to be interested in, say, thermodynamics. It's been done, dusted. The last bit of matter that actually matters is some different way to attain very high efficiency in some engine, which is like, it's almost done really. Without another quantum application or relativistic application, I don't see it happening. So because my brain is interested in research, because I want to know more, these fields automatically get ruled out. And further, amidst other fields, you can see what you really like. You can just read online, read papers, like published papers from like Scholar, Google Scholar, or you can, if you have GPT-4, even Scholar AI can give you a few papers about it. And online papers, books, high energy books, courses, as Sir said. But all of them would begin from branching out from what you already know. Because you can't be expected to suddenly touch something very high. You're not going to like it. You're like, why do I need to know this? This is irrelevant, because it won't make sense to you. And you will dismiss it easily. But you need to be open to see it. That's where Wikipedia comes in handy, because they have links explaining each and everything. You should have the patience to actually go through it and see until you reach an area that you know you're comfortable at. And then see how this would build into that. Do reverse engineering, you know. That is what I would suggest.
He has done a lot of such. I mean, you can see, I mean, what he's saying. I mean, if you do that one, you will find your way. I mean, when I completed my MSc, somebody told me that you spend 2 hours per day in the internet reading the stuff, then you find your way.
Yeah.
After maybe 1 or 2 months, if you do daily. I mean, that much search, reading, Wikipedia, and
Even a lot of the like news and even social media. I don't use any social media except Reddit, and there I follow some very interesting subreddits. So you get like new news articles, you get new discussions, you get to know what's what in a field that you'd like. So that's a very internet is a very valuable resource. You just need to know how to use it.
you just need to use it properly. Yes. So that you have to spend more time in the internet, I mean, in searching, because whatever physics we study here, it is physics before 1928. I mean, in some batches, I didn't even discuss Dirac theory.
Right.
We are not having time to discuss even Dirac theory. 1928. So that's why how the area evolved at this time, where it is from that time. I mean, that study that you need to do.
So another thing that I'm interested in is this also came from philosophy is the history of physics, because history of philosophy is one of the pillars of philosophy. So I liked how human thought evolved to see that. So naturally I liked history of physics. So you can see, I'm just saying you need to see how like the field evolved. But I said for me I'd already done that for the older fields, like how you go from Newtonian mechanics to say Lagrangian, or why Lagrange came up with his mechanics, or why Leibniz's calculus is different and stuff like that. So I'm interested in the history of it as well. So naturally it led to, okay, now that my career is on the line, because all this time I used to just think about it because I was interested, but now that the career is on the line, I had to apply the same principles, but for my field that I'm going to work in.
So, we are choosing a research field. Do you think someone should choose a field that has a lot of potential and which has room for growth, or just because they're interested?
I would say that's up to the person, but the person has to be aware of the growth that is there. Like for example, the field that I'm taking, I'm not taking because of growth. I am not interested in earning money. I'm not interested in a lot of stuff. I just want to know more. That's the crux of what I am. But this is not always a financially viable option for most people. I recognize that, but they should also recognize these two options. I know the possible scenarios I'm going to find myself in, but I have decided that it's worth it. So you need to be aware of everything and make a informed decision. So I wouldn't say which is better. I would say it's left to the person. You need to be aware of it, definitely, but the decision is yours.
But I mean, what I'm thinking is, I mean, if you are in the top of the competition, you will survive whatever the field you choose.
You need to be aware of it, as I said. If you're in the top only, you'll survive, but you need to know that you need to be confident that either you're at the top or you can get to the top.
Right now, what is happening is whoever in the energy research, they may, what it called, somehow earn money better, or somehow they will be engaged with some job.
Yeah, so that wasn't like my plan B. My plan B is like nuclear physics. That's the next thing that I'm interested in. And I know I can get a job there because nuclear energy is a pretty big concept, and it gets good funding even from DAE in India, Department of Atomic Energy. So if needed, if this doesn't work out, you can have plan B, plan C. And you need to make all of them based on informed decisions. You need to take time out to realize what's what. You need to know what's what. You need to know what exists, what's viable, what you want to do, and then decide an entire plan on your career and life, essentially.
So right now he's not thinking about money. I mean,
because I can afford to not.
Can you comment on, like, there haven't been any geniuses in like maybe a century or so. There
Yeah.
haven't been any breakthroughs like as much as what has been happening before.
There hasn't been, okay, at the risk of sounding arrogant, there hasn't been breakthroughs that you're aware of. Okay. So anywhere, if you look deep enough, there is going to be. It's not going to be the depths of, I mean, yeah, I can admit that it's not, because you don't know it, clearly it's not as big enough, but that's because theory has progressed, but you need experimental proof of those theories that has not progressed. Like you'd say the Higgs boson 2012 was a big breakthrough, but the theory was in 1963. So I would call that a breakthrough, right?
the experimental breakthrough are also breakthrough. Only theoreticians are not genius.
So experimental breakthrough cannot happen without theory. They were looking for the Higgs boson. You need to, this all goes back to how and why it is. Higgs boson is a product of the Higgs field, which can arise only through electroweak unification, electromagnetic force and the weak force. This happened in the 1950s. That at the time nobody saw it as a breakthrough, but now we know it's a breakthrough because we found the Higgs boson. So it's, I wouldn't say that not breakthroughs. I would say we're yet to prove that, we're yet to call them breakthroughs. So history of physics, it matters. You need to see where what progressed. Everybody's heard of Feynman, quantum electrodynamics, obviously. That would not exist without him. The Feynman technique, the Feynman path integral, there's no end to it. Even the damn atomic bomb, Manhattan Project, there's no end. There's always progression. You just have to look it up.
Yeah, it is happening.
Even currently, there's a lot of progress in cosmology because now experiment is finally catching up to Einstein's theories. So we caught the gravitational wave in 2015, and we caught the picture of the black hole 2 years ago. Now we're doing genuine. The LIGO got rebuilt and upgraded recently. It started working 2 months ago, I think, or maybe last month, and July now, 2 months ago. So yeah, now they've attained a higher precision than ever before. We already was LIGO is very precise. It's insane, but now they're even more precise. So that could lead to more breakthroughs. Breakthrough is not only confirming a theory, even disproving a theory is also a breakthrough. So it's happening, definitely. Just have to be aware of it. Can ask, it's fine.
So he's still using Slack. He don't usually reply on WhatsApp. So how you kept yourself away from social media?
I don't like it. I don't. I really don't. I mean, I tried. My friends tried to get me. I used to use Instagram and stuff. But even then, I used to follow pages, not people. I like either memes or science or stuff like that. That's it. I don't like it. I don't care about people.
I mean, that's what we do in social media. What others doing, right? So when I used to post WhatsApp status because I know that has more reach than a Facebook poster. Facebook stories have more reach than Facebook poster.
Yeah.
Facebook poster won't reach everyone. Facebook story will reach because everyone wants other stories. Right? So I mean, he don't like that one. That's why it's not social media. Okay.
That's why I said the only thing I use is Reddit. That's 100% anonymous. Okay. So it doesn't matter what you are. It matters what topic you're talking about.
So you said you were interested in cricket. I mean,
yeah, I used to play.
Now?
No, not since the accident. I was a bowler and then my wrist and shoulder got fractured. So I can't play. And during that break, I found interest and then I never went back. I haven't found the drive to.
Okay, now you can't play as earlier?
I can't bend the wrist more than this.
Oh, okay.
If I bend anymore, it hurts. So I can't play. I play sometimes once in 2-3 weeks, but it hurts.
You need to bend actually, am I right?
Yeah, I can't bat and I can't bowl. So I still do it. It hurts. I play sometimes once in maybe 2 weeks. But it hurts.
Ball hit your.
No. I was playing football.
Football.
I'm a cricketer, but I was playing football. I was playing with my friends, and yeah, I tripped and fell. I put my hand, and fracture happened.
So he thinks very fast, am I right? I mean, he speaks also very fast.
So you should tell me I'll talk slower. I've been told that I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Okay. People is telling you, am I right?
Yeah, sometimes at home, my parents are used to it, but if I go to some function or something, so some of the Hitel Methugmath I do, they don't understand. Even now, if you can see, I'm talking a little bit slower because I have to put in conscious effort to talk slower than what I usually do.
Maybe you think also a bit faster. I mean,
maybe I can't.
That's
judge.
actually. Yes. Yeah. Any questions? I can't say anymore. Yeah. Any questions?
Also, I'm talking faster because I'm nervous. I have stage fright.
No. You used to speak in the same speed in Google Meet.
No, so typing.
Yeah. Okay. If there are no questions on Google Meet, we'll close this meeting. Aditya is still there in that public Slack. If you guys want to contact him, you can leave him a message. Okay, it's like the email. Public CSRNet get just preparation channel. Okay, you can find him, Aditya Srivatsa. You can send him any message if you need any career guidance. Okay.
Career guidance, even I'm willing to help it any way I can.
Yeah.
Don't mind, ask anything.
Yes. Okay. So on behalf of Bose Physics Learning Center, we shall congratulate him first for cracking this exam and for qualifying for shortlisting for integrated PhD. And we shall wish him all the best for his future targets, and wish you all the best.
Thank you,
And
sir.
thank you so much for joining this session and helping us to, understand how we can prepare in a better manner for the exam. And even personally, I have learned a lot out of this session. How I can guide you the next batches and
I'm
all.
glad to help.
Yes, thank you so much. If there are no questions, we shall close this session. Anyone? Okay. So those who are attending Google Meet, I'll be conducting one more webinar this month end maybe. I'll send the details. Okay, month end, maybe Saturday or Sunday only. One more webinar. I want to invite one special person, and we have a lot of previous students like that. We need to interact actually. So I'm not getting time to organize those kind of stuff actually. One more student, he's in ICTS. I think we shall call him. One more student who cracked the PA for Hyderabad interview. Your batch only.
Arpan?
Arpan, he cracked. I think you guys used to attend interview together.
Yeah.
With Harshan, right?
Yeah. We used to text also. He told he got the interview ICTS.
Yeah. So stay tuned with this kind of interaction session. Okay, it will help us to understand what quality we have to develop to get into that level. So that's what I found. Okay. Yeah. So all the best. Thank you.
Thank
so
you, sir.
much. Yes.